When I was a kid, I wasn't that into video games, but that all changed dramatically when I got the game Morrowind. I saw it on the shelf for only $10 and was like, this is cool. But when I got home and installed the game, I entered a world I'd only thought possible in my wildest dreams. This wasn't just a game, it was a whole new life inside my computer. I had never seen anything so realistic. I could do whatever I want, be whoever I want. The options and choices seemed endless. Anytime I was home, I was playing this game. And anytime I was at school, I was thinking about playing this game. So with that in mind, you probably would assume that I was some kind of pro at Morrowind, like I knew all the secrets and stuff, but no, I was actually really terrible. For one, I was absolutely terrified of the wilderness. The first time I ran out there, I had no idea what to expect. For some reason, I had this idea that it was going to be like this peaceful, serene adventure, I guess, and I was so wrong. I started walking out there when all of a sudden, oh my god. The sound of me being attacked literally jumped me out of my seat in terror. But what really freaked me out is that I could not figure out what was even attacking me. I spun around and it was like nothing was even there. Turns out it was this tiny ass gross little slug thing. And even though this sounds ridiculous, this slug boy really upset me. But that's okay. I'm a tough guy and I can get through this. I'm not gonna let some dumb little slug guy bother me. But then I decided to enter a cave, and man, was I not really prepared for what was gonna happen in there. I started to walk through the tunnel for a bit when I came upon this open area, and in front of me were two naked people. And they apparently were not happy that I was there because they freaked out and murdered me. I was killed by naked people.
That's disgusting. Dress yourself.
Now look, I was pretty young back then, but I was still old enough to know that when you find a man and a woman and they don't have any clothes, that they're doing inappropriate things. This was not what I expected in my video game. So yeah, between the slug boy and the naked couple, I was pretty traumatized about going into the wild, which meant that I spent the vast majority of my time hanging out in the cities. I'd look for all the quests that were town related, and anyone that sent me on the wild, I just ignored. However, my love for towns was really amplified by the fact that there was so much more to see and do while in town. There were so many people to talk to and so many secrets to discover, like how there's a dagger hidden under this pillow in the Satanine Inn. But because I spent so much time inside the city walls and not actually out adventuring, it meant that I didn't really make a lot of progress on leveling up my character or acquiring awesome gear. So in order to compensate for that problem, I stole stuff. Anything I could get my hands on that had any sort of value, it was mine.
I think you're a thief because you've stolen my heart.
Thief? What are you talking about? I'm no thief. Crap, they're onto me. I very quickly discovered that you could actually start the game out with some pretty decent gear just by stealing all the stuff from the census and excise office, and then selling it to the trader in town. After that, I would then head straight for the lighthouse, where I'd then proceed to murder the poor lady who lives there in an attempt to level up my character. For some reason, this seemed less stressful than fighting a tiny slug. That lady was vicious though. She had a wicked arm. Unfortunately though, I later found out that even the cities were not safe because of the cliff racers. Since I didn't leave the towns most of the time, I didn't actually know about cliff racers for quite a while. That is until I was jumping around the buildings in this one town, when all of a sudden, what the? I really was not prepared to be suddenly attacked. I thought at first that the guards might have caught on to my thieving ways, but there was nobody there. So eventually, I decided to look up, and I saw this terrifying dinosaur bird beating the crap out of me. And even though that was really horrifying, it actually really helped me, because now that I knew that even the towns were unsafe, I might as well just start exploring the rest of the world. And I figured the best place to start would be by doing the main quest. That's right, I had done virtually none of the main quests at all up until this point. The quest that I'd stopped on was the one where you need to find a cube in some Dwemer ruins, and I had actually attempted to find this ruin before at one point, but for some reason I was having a really hard time, and since I really didn't like being in the wild, I decided to go back to town. But this time I was determined to face my fears and find this place. So I set off on my journey, and I still couldn't find it. I spent hours trying to find this stupid Dwemer ruin, and after retracing my steps many times, I just said, screw it! I don't need to do it. There's hundreds of other great quests. I'll just do those instead. Eventually, when I was older and wanted to try and find this place again, I discovered the reason why it was so hard to find was because the directions were wrong. Once I found it though, my problems did not end there, because now I could not find that stupid cube. I went looking everywhere for it, up, down, in some lava, nowhere. So once again, I gave up, because at this point I did not care and would rather just play Oblivion instead, where I don't have to follow directions and hope that they were accurate. I can just follow this stupid compass. So yeah, that's as far as I made it, until I did my Morrowind Let's Play. I'm no longer afraid of the wilderness anymore either, but to this day, I still hate caves. I mean, not for the same reasons, but the hatred definitely started with this. Nowadays, I just think that caves and dungeons in general are way too repetitive and boring and claustrophobic and unpredictable, and okay, maybe some of the reasons are still there. I just really hate caves. When Oblivion came out, I was still pretty afraid of the wilderness, and I remember stepping out of the sewers for the first time and looking at the map and thinking, oh, you can fast travel. I've always low-key wished that Bethesda would make an Elder Scrolls game that was set entirely in just one gigantic city. None of the wilderness stuff, no caves, just one big city, and all the quests are related to what's going on in that city, and there's all these cool areas to explore and ways to navigate and tons of secrets. Quite frankly, that would be awesome. But then again, it's gonna take like 40 years for them to make one Elder Scrolls game, so I don't know, maybe Obsidian should do it. The Outer Worlds game they made was pretty good, and now they're making an Elder Scrolls contender called Avowed. That game looks sweet. Well, there you go. Now you know why I'm always super jumpy in dungeons and get stressed out in the wilderness very easily. If you want more stories from my childhood, I recommend you check out my video on Star Wars Galaxies. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way over. I'll see you guys there.
Put that away.